Welcome to Marriott MBA Today. I'm your host, Dan Patton, and I'm joined by a special guest today, Melanie Lopez. Melanie, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me on the show today.
Great. Well, as you know, Melanie is another one of our anchors, but today she has agreed to come on as a guest because we're taking part in this series about working from home, some of the pros and cons, and Melanie's got some experience from that. So let's talk a little bit about your experience. I understand that you worked for a number of years before coming back to school. You worked at least a few days a week on a telecommuting basis. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, that's exactly right. So for most of my career, I was able to work from home 1 to 2 days a week. And it was really great because, especially when I was working downtown, I didn't have to commute. And I was able for most of the time to get Fridays off. And we had a team situation where everybody could have at least 1 or 2 days off in the week. And one thing that my boss did was he had us all come in the office on one day, say a Tuesday, so we could all be there together and collaborate that day. And then the rest of the week would be about half and half.
Really? Mm-hmm. Okay. So do you feel like your productivity was impacted either negatively or positively by working from home a couple days of the week?
You know, if you do it right, your productivity can actually go up when you're at home. So for example, you know those times when you're in the office, you're really trying to crunch some numbers or really think hard on a report you're writing or something. People are walking by, asking you questions, chit-chat, they see you and they want to ping you for something. That's all interruptions. And when you're at home, you can just have some of that heads down time that you can just focus. And that's what I love the most about working at home, is not having those interruptions.
Okay. Now, obviously, I mean, some of those interruptions are pure distractions, and some of them include important elements such as collaboration, networking, some things that you need at the office. So do you feel like some of those collaboration elements, the fact that you were working from home a couple days a week, put you at a disadvantage?
You know, I did like the balance between being in the office and being at home, because there is that important element of, you know, relationship building and getting to know people, maybe even having a chance to pitch an idea just because you could see someone had a few minutes of free time in their office, you know, your manager or something. So there is something to say for that, but there's also, with such global companies, there's ways to do it online. You know, one thing that my team did was we had an ongoing chat throughout the day. We would share links, share stories, ideas, and so we felt like we were all together even though we weren't.
Okay, so you were pretty well connected in all of the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, what type of effect did that have on your family life? For instance, did the line between home and family and work become blurred a little bit?
Yeah, I think it can. And so one tip that I give to people, my friends who are thinking about telecommuting, is pretend like you're going into the office. If you're going to bring your kids to daycare or after school programs, continue to do that. If you're trying to multitask family stuff at home, it's just not going to work. It's going to kill your productivity. So set aside your own home office area where you can have quiet time or have no one else in the house. And that's the way that you can be most productive, and that'll help you not blur those lines. But you know, it is easy when you're working from home to kind of get back on at the end of the day. And you know, that works for some people, whether their office is at home or at work. They might leave early, have some time with the family, and then get back on at night. And for me, you know, when the kids are asleep, that's also some really productive time.
Great, great. Sounds like you've got the home time worked out pretty good. Now, what about actually at the office? Do you have any tips for how to maximize the face time when you're actually there?
Right. So especially starting out in a job, I would definitely recommend being first one in the office, last one out of the office. Try to do that a couple times a week just to show your commitment and to be there. I think there is some element of face time that's important if you're trying to move up. Another thing you can do is set up some lunches and some meetings with people that you need FaceTime with. All of those, you know, personal interactions that you have with people can really help you in your career.
Great, great. Well, thank you so much for taking a few minutes to give us some insights and advice. And thank you for joining us. This has been another episode of Marriott MBA Today.